Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Today is a very special episode for a number of reasons. Based off the title, you already know what you're getting yourself into. There it is, right there, in the flesh. The Super 64 from Eon, graciously sent to Smash JT for review by Castlemania Games, an amazing online retailer that sells a lot of fairly unique retro gaming stuff, and strongly recommend you guys checking it out when you have the chance. This right here is the N64 Eon Adapter HDMI, also known specifically as the Super 64. Let me pull this tag out here. Whoop, there we go. And this is what it looks like. It's, I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it there, but far enough away. There we go. The Eon adapter plugs directly into the back of the N64 and offers an HDMI out on the other side of it. So it is truly built to be a plug-and-play device for all your Nintendo 64 gaming needs. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a play test with it, seeing if it measures up to my expectations with it. I'll also be checking out a few other minor things that some people have asked me to do in this video. Like, does it plug into the Super Nintendo and do an HDMI out? Does it work with the Elgato so that I could stream with this? There's a lot of questions people have had. Plus, does it even look good, or is it just a way to plug your console into an HDMI TV instead of using the audio videos out? So lots to go over with this video. Without further ado, I want to talk about what this thing is being advertised as, specifically by Eon themselves. Here is the box itself. It looks like an N64. It's very cute how they did this. And on the back it says, supercharge your N64. Play any N64 game on any HD TV. Virtually eliminates all lag. Compatible with any HDMI enabled display. Outputs the highest quality signal over HDMI. No additional modding required, which is a big one for me because I am not really heavy into the mod scene. I like something that's very simple to use and basic. Plug and play is about as basic as you're going to get when it comes to this kind of stuff. Setup is easy. Plug the Eon Super 64 into your N64. Connect HDMI from Eon Super 64 to your HD TV. Enjoy your N64's full potential. Wow. So plug it in and then play. That's plug and play. And via CastlemaniaGames.com, it does go for $149.99 US with an estimated ship date of July 29th, 2019. The Wave 1 is already complete, so if you're ordering it now, you will be in the Wave 2 of shipment. Not sure when that will be going out yet. This patent-pending design is the first adapter of its kind to offer a complete plug-and-play solution intended for the use with the original N64 console, NTSC, and NTSC Japan. The Super 64 delivers a clean 480p zero-lag image over HDMI without the need for external power. Additionally, the Super 64 features a new Slick Mode button that, when activated, buffs out hard pixelated edges, giving an all-new look to our favorite N64 games. And some specifics that people have been asking on what this provides: it's a plug-and-play for the N64. Like I said, no mods are required. Provides the best visual signal possible on original hardware. It pulls N64 S-video and scales to 480p. Custom-tuned colors and audio to create the most true-to-form N64 experience. Lagless input. Controller inputs appear on screen instantly. Custom designed plug to match original N64 aesthetic. Utilizes standard HDMI. And finally, like I stated, the Slick Mode feature produces a more polished image. And that Slick Mode is being advertised as the reason why people should upgrade to get one of these. $150 is a lot of money, especially when you're asking the retro scene just for an adapter that switches a console from AV to HDMI out. But it might actually be worth it. Let's head over to the game room and check out what this thing actually offers to the gamer, and if it's actually going to be worth $150 USD. Here is an N64. I don't know, that's an extra one. Here's my N64 that's plugged in. There is the HDMI adapter. Right now there is nothing plugged into the back of it. We are going to test the regular audio video first on this, then we'll switch over to the Eon Super 64. For those of you who are wondering, here is my N64 collection. I know I had a lot of people ask me to see it. This is it. I have a lot of games in the collection. You see, pretty much, let me see, I'd say about 80% of the N64 library. Somewhere scattered around my house. This is even all my games. But that's how big of an N64 fan that I am, and I am beyond thrilled to be playing this Eon Super 64 adapter for you guys. Gotta play the original Smash Brothers. That's the only game that would make sense to start this off with. I want you to also not just pay attention to the video, but the audio quality. This is coming through the original audio video cables that came with the N64 back in the day. And just based off of my initial viewing of this, you can tell it's very blurry. I think if you don't play these N64 games for a while, you forget just how blurry they actually were. Still looks good though, and a lot of these games hold up today. Although people might argue the original Smash Brothers doesn't. Alright, so that is the original Super Smash Brothers on the original audio video cables for the N64. Now I'm going to swap it straight over to the HDMI adapter, the Super 64 from Eon. Here we go, this is now plugged into the Super 64. This is the regular mode, not the slick mode. I'm going to also show the difference with that as well. It is a gigantic difference. And now this is with the slick mode turned on. As for the question, does it work on the Super Nintendo? It does not fit on the back. So unfortunately, for those of you who are hoping to be able just to plug and play on the Super Nintendo, it gets jammed right there. You can't put it in, there's not enough room for it. If I have the time, maybe I will do some modding to this to see, but I would imagine it does not work with this. But who knows? Who knows? It might. It's just a little bit frustrating if it does work with it, then they could have nudged this down a little bit to work with both consoles. So as it stands right now, I cannot confirm or deny it works with the Super Nintendo because it does not fit into the spot because of the block right there. So there you have my thoughts on the Super 64 HDMI plug-and-play adapter for the Nintendo 64. $149.99 on CastlemaniaGames.com. I will put a link in the description below, affiliate link. Please feel free to use that one. It helps out the channel. This thing, I don't want to just rah-rah cheerlead all the way to the end. It's a lot of money. $150 is really something that you're only going to be asking out of the most hardcore of N64 fans. So I am one of those. It's really hard for me to relate to someone who isn't. So if you feel like the N64 brings back a ton of memories and you'd love to have the ability to play it on your main TV or in your family room with the updated graphics, this is something that would make plenty of sense. If you're not very big on getting these graphical updates, if you're fine with just what the N64 offers to the user at the present time, then no, obviously $150 is going to be too much to ask. But honestly, for what this does for your console, it brings an old school retro vintage game system into the new era, and I am blown away by the graphical update that it presents, especially when you click that slick mode button. Like I talked about when showing this off, that completely shifts the entire game up. If it didn't have that slick mode button, I'd be like, it's too jagged, it's too rough. I mean, it doesn't really bring it into the new era well, because all the graphics are crystal clear and sharp edges make it something that you probably wouldn't like to watch. It's not easy on the eyes, but when you press that button, it's like a magical transformation that makes these games that you've played time and time again feel new again, makes you excited to put them into your system and play them again because of these updates and how it looks. Again, I'm trying to remain as unbiased as possible. This thing was given to me as a review copy by Castlevania Games. I'm not letting that impact my decision on this though. I want you guys to know, $150, it's a lot of money for an HDMI plug and play. So yes, it's amazing. Yes, it upscales and blows my mind. But if you're not someone who has $150 to be blowing on an HDMI upscaler, then don't buy it. But if you look at the N64 with some great memories and you look back in all this nostalgia and you want to be able to play it on a modern TV and be able to see it without these jagged edges that it presents to the users, then yes, it's 100% worth it. But only if you already have the N64 and games to go along with it. Otherwise, it's a pretty expensive proposition to ask someone to spend $150 on this and buy an N64 console and controller and all the games that you'd want with it. Like I said in my original video talking about this thing when I first heard it was getting announced, it is basically the N64 classic that never came from Nintendo. You're able to play the games you have in higher quality through an HDMI cord. So yes, this thing answered all my questions, my prayers, my hopes and dreams that I ever wanted with my N64. I am very happy with it. But only if you love the N64 and need something to upscale is this going to be worth $150. That's where I'm going to leave the video, but let me know what you guys think about the Eon HDMI Super 64 plug-and-play adapter. If it's something you'd be interested in, if you feel like it's going to be worth $150, based off of the graphics that you've seen and in your life right now, do you need to bring the N64 to the modern era, or are you already filling your days playing modern games? Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing. Smash